Hello, I'm Dazra, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Last week, we finished off Lily, as you can see here. And as promised, I will do Hanako's route. So last time, by going to town, I end up in Lily's route. This time I'm going to the library. The library seems as good as a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. Wait, let me just readjust this. Let's turn down the music a bit. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Through each one, the sound of furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door, almost as loud as a concert. I doubt it's loud as a concert, and besides, in a concert, it's not really the music that makes the sound, it's mostly the audience screaming. I guess that's one advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulated the noise of the festival preparations, but they're the only noise to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walk through the library, now fairly familiar with its layout. I head to the back where Hanako's private little corner is. I run my hand along the spines of the books on the way through, feeling the individual texture of each as I glance across the titles. My throat is kind of off, but I should be able to do the voices. I used to do this all the time at the library at the hospital. Some things never change, I guess. I mean, you only recently got back. Like the smell of a library, no matter how much care you take. Wait. Yeah, I read that right. The paper in the books is always going to degrade with time. They are plant matter. Probably no matter which library you go into, anywhere in the world, it must have the same musty smell. I find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved, then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she is sitting on a beanbag with her back to a bookshelf. Let's go, Hanako. Hello, Spiraled. How are ya? Reading the same book she had in the classroom. She's slowly making her way through the pages. And I'm only doing Lily and Hanako. One, because I think it will take too long if I do all 5 options. Technically 6. Well, technically 7 because Kenji is a joke route, and Misha technically becomes a route as Shizune's bad ending. And also, I chose Hanako and Lily specifically because not only are they considered the popular girls, I mean they're all popular to a degree, but these two also will help me master my voices. I'm alright. I think my voice is a bit off today. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat at a beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. This delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Feels like hunting game. Is that the same book as before?
Oh, yes. I'm almost finished.
Cool. That's very nonchalant. I wonder if I should... Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My math is faster than my mind, it seems.
Sure. You may not like it, but...
I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you've stuck with it, haven't you?
I guess.
I settled into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. One Piece is a manga, so I don't know what they're referencing here. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words, having chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noting that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decide to try and make conversation. So, I see I see Lily left without you. She nods before taking her eyes off her book. She must have been really into it after all.
Lily said she had to go and meet someone.
That someone is Akira. Oh.
Akira. Her sister.
Sister? Yeah, my voice. I'm kinda losing my voice. But I'll be fine. It's probably the side effects of... Because I just took my throat medicine for COVID. Like, yeah, I'm out of the disease, but my body's still healing from it, so I've been taking pills. And I took my pill not too long ago. So, I think my body's trying to recover from it.
She and Akira... she and Akira used to live together.
I thought all students lived in the dorms.
I mean, we don't have to.
But it's easier, right? I mean, there's food here, and you're close to school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. Like, I'm not only losing the Hanako / as some people calls it, the Mikan voice, but I'm also losing my regular voice. Let's see how it is if I try doing the Ada voice. In the back of my mind, I know I have a bit of homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Though, now that I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey, Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? For a split second, I think that Hanako is about to throw her book into the air from shock.
Sorry?
I was just asking what you're doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned?
I don't know.
Hanako answers in the way that people do when they don't really want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. Oh, wait, I did say it's oh. Oh, okay. And my dog's trying to get into my room. Change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like?
She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses businesslike.
Businesslike?
She's always wearing a suit.
Ah, I see. And that makes her less pretty somehow? Lily gives an embarrassed shake of her head.
No, just different.
You could say handsome, Hanako. I'll admit it. This has got me intrigued. To hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is a first. and to be complimenting about it too. Complimentary about it too. But as I try to imagine this mystery sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit, and I can't imagine that not being attractive, not at all. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her.
Okay.
Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window. Slowly, the noises from various rehearsals in the building fade out and die as students start to get hungry and tired. Just thinking about that makes my stomach start to turn knots around itself. I think it's time to head back. Do you think Lily would be back by now? I think I might head back to my dorm. I'm pretty tired from this week. And not a word of that is a lie. Moving to a new school as it ramps up for a major event has been taxing to say the least. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book.
Okay. I might stay here. Okay. I might stay here a little longer.
Looking at Hanako's book, I can see that she is only a few pages away from completing it. For a moment, I consider hanging around until she finishes, and once again my stomach turns, emulating a gargling sound. Sure thing. Well, I'm going to head off before it gets dark. I'll see you around, okay?
Okay. See you, Hisao.
Later.
Hisao?
Hmm?
Thank you for hanging out with me.
Where did I add? I almost added today, but yeah, it's just thank you for hanging out with me. I can see how hard it was for her to get that simple sentence out of her mouth. It leaves me hanging for a moment. So, there is someone in this school who is even lonelier than me. Maybe lonely is a wrong word. I haven't been lacking company for this first week, but I've still managed to feel somewhat alone and detached. Maybe lonely is a wrong word for Hanako, too. She has Lily after all, doesn't she? I realize I've been standing there far too long without answering and pull off a flawless, not too exaggerated smile. You're welcome. Good night, Hanako.
Night.
I leave her to finish her book and head back to the dorms and the promise of food. Hanako. Katawa Shoujo. Because seeing that Lily gave us 7 episodes, I'm expecting Hanako's route to also give us 7 episodes. Well, we'll see. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Wait, what? Oh, whoops. Okay, there we go. I accidentally clicked something that I shouldn't, but wait. I'm just quickly checking my second screen because sometimes I need to sync it up. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low-quality food. I'm getting a feeling of deja vu here. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, and that rhymes, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. I'm just syncing things up. Yep. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallways, intending to go and find something to eat. Oh no. Pushing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has any plans since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort complete with no girls allowed sign. Just like that meme. And with the girls crossed out and body crudely scroll underneath it. And I keep exiting the game. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you. Damn, it's early. It's not that early. What is it, man? Nothing. Was just gonna ask about what you're gonna do today. Half the school's already out there. Already. Out where? Why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Why are they there? Who are they? Who are? I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Well, I guess you can't see... Well, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all times to thaw the snipers. It's the festival. You know that. You know that, right? Oh shit, that's today? Oh damn. Damn it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my port finished yet. This is bad. This is going to be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're gonna be everywhere. People outside my window, socializing. I mean, I'm pretty sure we went through the same lines in Lily's route, but we'll still go. I'm not gonna skip anything because it's a good refresher. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill. It's going to be loud as hell. Damn, and I was going to go out today. But now, it's ruined. Everything is ruined. This is awful. This sucks. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji looks nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out. I can't believe this. So that's what today was? Damn. I couldn't even prepare for it. You had an entire week. Probably longer. I can't even brace myself, and now it's here, and I can't do anything. You should have told me this earlier, dude. I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier. Imagine what I could have accomplished. Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today. The weather is even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be cold. It's not. It's not though. So there's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check out you should check the festival out. Kanji groans and covers his face with his hands. No, I can't do that. They'll eat me out. They'll eat me alive out there. I know it. This has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight. I mean, there's a joke Kenji rap, and he hates women, so how straight can he be? What are you going to do? We should hang out in here. You can help me build my fort. We might still make it if we work together. I don't know, I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first, then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I gave a hand with it, so I want to see at least that one and chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligations for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the way of my great vision. This is why a lot of people want to beat you up. As expected of blind people. What? Oh, and you don't hate her because she's a girl, you hate her because you're blind. You're also blind. Partially blind, Kenji. He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see further than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just the corner wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. Don't question the genius this man knows. This guy knows what he's talking about. I can see the future of mankind. It's a dark one, unless the threat of women is stifled. They are everywhere. Statistically speaking, there are more men than women in the world. Even though it's only by percentage, but yeah. Apparently that's nature's way of doing it because men tend to live shorter and men tend to have a more risk-taking behavior. As a result, men tend to die relatively easy. As a result, nature tries to balance that out by producing more males than females. The more you know. Well, that was a theory back in the day. I'm not sure if it still holds up. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down. Once a panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away at the rather bland tasting item. I guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing and didn't cost much. As I look towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing time as I eat. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din, from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized, powerful snack. Like fairy floss? I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly. Something that I've also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their their whole lives and ardently refuse to leave, and those wanting to live out the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. I guess that also goes a way to explain how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit. I like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting, now that the hottest part of the day is here. Yeah. The sound of the Carolyn bells take me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the elder folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause. United? In polite? What? What does that mean? Never mind. Applause and then go back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back on a tried and true rule. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the schoolyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, I catch a familiar sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going. After all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls, and the equipment for cooking through everywhere. It's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients, while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3 too. Once again. Wait, this track is called Air Guitar? Huh, I was curious about what it was called. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter, and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup. Ah, is that it, Sal? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Yep, I think my voice is slowly coming back. Her face all but confirms it. What's this song called? Ease. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover the problem? It seems that's what we'll have to do, though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. Okay, this is where it kind of differs. Like, you speak to Lily, and instead of giving Lily a break, you decide to look for Hanako instead. And this is why Ragnar thinks this is kind of a dick move. Instead of letting her become stress-free, you decide to leave Lily behind and look for Hanako. I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the store. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left. That's right. She's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Alright, coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually, satisfied that I've handed over correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks. I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Sal. Oh, there's one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then. Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako, too. Thank you, Sal. I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be. Perhaps, but The flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into the school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking out. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Most of them seem quite relaxed as they work. Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Lily doesn't look impressed at all, but I can't really blame her. Oh, this is where Ragnar says it's going to be kind of a dick move. On top of her issues with her stall, she still seems to be worried about Hanako. I can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help is by trying to take her mind off our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back onto the corner, I call out to Lily. Hey Lily, don't worry about Hanako. I'll go find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Isao. And if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? Will do. Have a good one, and make sure you take a break, okay? Yeah, Ragnar calls this a dick move because instead of taking her out and letting her relax, I decide to leave her and look for Hanako. I will if I can. See you later, Hisao. I leave Lily in the stall and walk out to search of Hanako. In search of Hanako. Anyway, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she is enjoying herself. The halls are packed with swaying crowds meandering throughout the festival. If there's one thing I know about Hanako, it's that she's not going to be anywhere near this. This one doesn't have a song. And with the students showing their friends and families their dorms, I doubt she'll be there either. Following blind intuition, I move against the grain of the crowd. Thankfully, this crowd seems to be slightly less festive than your usual festival crowd. I assume this is out of consideration for the student body. As I force my way through the masses, it doesn't take long for them to thin down into nothingness. This is not surprising since I'm standing before the library. Even the most eager of students don't bother to show anyone this section of the school. I mean, there was in one of my old schools, one of my old primary schools, we did have a bring your parent to school day. Some of them were in the library. As I enter the library, the noise of the festival fades into a dull background noise, and soon I am in the soon I am in the reading area at the rear of the room. Behind one of the partitioned desk, I see the top of a head with straight dark hair catching my eye. Hey Hanako, I had a feeling I'd find you here. The head jumps a little in shock before slowly peeping. I rarely hear people say peeping. Nowadays people are saying peeking. Peeping over the partition.
So?
Hey, Lily's pretty busy, so she sent me to find you.
Oh. Do you want to sit down?
Actually, I'm feeling a little hungry. Would you like to get something to eat from one of the stands?
I brought some food, so...
I shouldn't be surprised, but it was worth a try. Expecting her to go outside today was a long shot. Wow, their library allows them to eat? How about we eat in the tea room? I passed by it on the way here, and no one was around. We can make some food there, and it'll be a little more comfortable. What do you say?
Sure. Let's go.
Hanako closes her book and puts it away with deliberate practice movements. Good to go?
Yeah.
We walk side by side from the library to the tea room. As expected, there is barely a soul around. If it weren't for the murmurs through the walls, my walls? Oh no. You wouldn't tell that there was a huge festival going on outside. Hanako carries her bag in both hands and focuses on just the floor ahead of her. Every now and again, she seems to break her face a little and steps in slightly shorter paces. The first time it happened, I gave it no mind, but as soon as I noticed that I soon noticed that she does it on a regular basis. Are you alright? She stops dead in her tracks.
What?
I don't know. It looked like you were tripping or something. You can't just say you're tripping. Hey, what's this song called? I didn't really have a chance to check out the songs while I was playing Lily's route. Everyday Fantasy. A pink blush rises into her cheeks as her gaze returns to the floor.
It's nothing.
You know when you say nothing like that, people are inspired to ask further questions. For a second, I don't think she's going to answer. Prepared to leave it be, I almost set off walking again when...
It's a game.
Game?
Do you see the floor here?
What a bizarre question. The floor looks just like any other floor, covered in those tiles made from squares of linoleum. I'm probably saying that wrong. Nothing noteworthy. Well, yes, what about it?
Sometimes, when there's no one around, I only step on the darker ones.
I do that too, even now. When no one's looking, obviously. I mean, sometimes I still do it, even when people are looking, but I do it fast enough that no one sees. Well, yeah, I relate to Hanako there. And she also has my outfit, not this. You'll see, the casual outfit for those. Hanako's voice trails off as her explanation continues, until I could barely hear her voice over the roaring silence of the empty hall. Darker ones? Shuffling her feet, Hanako points the toe of her shoe at a tile that is barely a shade darker than the others.
Like these ones.
Oh right, so these ones are no good. I point out a nearby tile.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, I see. Do you play this game a lot? Hanako shakes her head. Just when the holes are empty? He nods. Well then, no point in stopping. I'm beginning to get really hungry. He nods again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. Well then, let's go. We set off down the hall, and this time I noticed that Hanako is paying a little less attention to the floor. I wonder, just how lonely does someone have to be to come up with a game like that? I feel exposed. Is the game calling me lonely? Because I do that. What are you saying, game? Am I lonely? But before I realize what I'm doing, I find myself trying to aim each step as it lands on the correct tiles. Oh, that's sweet. We're playing with Hanako. My dog's still trying to get into my room. I'm not letting him in. He got doxed already. Oreo. The noise of the festival is slightly louder inside the tea room, with the breeze coming in through the open window. But oh wait, I didn't read that right. But the breeze coming through the open window makes it worth it. Without thinking, I walk to the windowsill and inhale deeply. I sometimes forget how clean the air is here compared to back home.
Would you like some tea?
Oh, that would be great, thanks. It occurs to me that this is the first time I've been alone with Hanako without her trying to be somewhere else. Turning from the window, I watch as she makes a simple pot of tea and arranges some sandwiches onto a plate. I've seen her do this before a number of times, but this time she seems slightly different. It's like she's calm. Eventually, she places the small tray on the table and pours 2 cups of tea. The fresh scent of brewed tea mingles with the breeze, and for a second, I feel like I'm the only one in the world. I think I know why you like this room now.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, there are a few people out there, but in here, it's like another world. You can pretend that there's no one around for miles.
You're right. It's like the world has forgotten this room. And because of that, you can forget about the outside.
That would be appealing in some cases. As far as I can tell, conventional bullying doesn't exist in this school. But then again, I haven't seen a single person talk to Hanako besides Lily. If you're ignored by the world, a place where you can forget its existence would hold a special appeal. That's a good point. It's like this room gives you some kind of complete freedom.
Yeah. Hey, do you play chess?
Chess? I've played a little bit, I guess. I take it you've played before?
A little.
Without saying any more, Hanako moves to one of the cupboards and digs out a small chess set.
Do you want?
Sure, why not? I cut her off, but she doesn't seem to mind it. We arranged the pieces, and before long, we were sending pawns charging to their inevitable fates. I take my time and intently examine each move and its consequences. Nostalgia for the game taking second place to the matter at hand. For a time, the game is a lengthy battle of attrition, but I spot an opening and tear a line in her defense. A few moves later, her king is cornered by several of my pieces. Checkmate. You're not bad at this, are you? An honest appraisal. Her technique is pretty good, but several times I was able to exploit her lack of prediction. I pick up a piece and examine it. It looks relatively new, yet worn for its age.
I guess...
Wait, I bit my tongue.
I guess not.
Does Lily play? The absence of Hanako's answer causes me to think about my question.
A bit. This is the first time I've played against someone other than her,
Or? She cuts herself abruptly, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Someone she knew before coming to Yamagu, maybe. Well then, I'm honored to have played against you.
Can we play again?
I used to play chess when I was a kid. I've forgotten most of the rules. She asked as if she were asking me to cut off my own hands. Spirit of competition's gotten into her? Sure, though don't expect me to go easy on you this time. Not that I was before. Mind? She seems to appreciate the competitive tone. This one is called Raindrops and Puddles.
Same here.
As we were setting up the pieces, there is a noise at the door. Good afternoon.
Lily?
Oh, hey there, Lily. Are you finished? You both are here? Wonderful. At any rate, our teacher managed to round out some extra help. I was able to leave. Have you been here since you left? Pretty much. We've just been playing a bit of chess.
Oh, would you like a cup of tea?
Actually, I think it may be a good idea to go outside for a while. The instant drop in Hanako's face shows her objection to this plan, even though she says nothing. I feel slightly compelled to voice what is plainly view on her face, but Lily can't see. I kinda think we should just stay here. Really? It's crowded. It's so crowded here that I was thinking we should leave the school and head for the local tea house.
You mean the Shanghai?
Of course. With everyone at the festival, it should be practically empty. Tea house? Oh, that's right. You probably don't know about it. You probably don't know of it. There is a tea house not far from here, which we go to every so often. Sounds like a plan. Hanako, what do you think? Hanako jumps a little at being forced into the conversation, but at least she seems less distraught than before.
If it's the Shanghai, I think it'll be nice.
Well then, it's settled. Let's be on our way. Hanako and I rise from the table and our preempted chess game. Before I can do anything, Hanako has poured the pieces into a small container and placed the board away. Looks like we're ready now. Please lead on. Hanako moves to Lily's side, and we venture onto the school corridors. This one's... yeah, I know this one. This one's Concord. The pair leads me through a series of unfamiliar doors, and we emerge on the side of the building opposite of the festival grounds. Insulated by the heavy stone of the building, the noise from the crowd has faded to a murmur. Strange. I thought that most people would be beginning to leave by now. They're probably here to view the fireworks. Fireworks? Yes, apparently the school puts on quite a show. A lot of people come from town just to watch them. Lily's decision to leave the school grounds seems to make sense now. Hanako probably would probably have a hard time with the whole town descending onto the school, or ascending as the case may be. I mean, in Lily's route, Hanako went outside to enjoy the festival, so... But again, each route has a different rider. For the second time since do I know the name of this one? Yeah, this one's called Afternoon. This one is called Afternoon, yeah. For the second time since arriving at Yamaku, I find myself walking down this road with Lily. Only now that I can barely hear the incessant noise of the festival do I realize how loud it was. I can hear my ears ringing slightly in the still evening air as they recover from the day's assault on them. Hanako clings to Lily, but still manages to guide her along the road. That, and avoiding the occasional gaze from curious pedestrians, appears to completely sap her constitution. She rarely raises her focus with the ground in front of her, nor does she utter a word. Lily, on the other hand, maintains her prim and proper persona, just as she does in school. It's obvious she purposely puts effort into her appearance, rather than hiding it as Hanako does. It's striking how different they are in their way of holding themselves outside of Yamaku's grounds. That said, it's obvious in both their cases that they do visibly change. Inside Yamaku, everyone is special, which negate the specialness of it. But once we venture outside the school gates, we are returned to the status of outsider and generic labels. Especially when we are still in school uniform, it's like a sign, it's like hanging a sign around your neck, challenging people to figure out what is wrong with you. I'm surprised that so many of the students keep it on. Then again, with canes and wheelchairs common among the students, I guess it's not really that much of a giveaway. Or maybe I'm the only one that sees this as a stigma. Maybe you get used to it after a time, like any other school uniform. The tea house seems fairly standard from the outside, just an ordinary building with typical signs decorating the entrance. It looks like the type of place you'd walk by without a thought. Just another generic cafe in a sea of thousands. If Hanako hadn't steered Lily into the entrance, I would have continued on down the road without even knowing that it existed. Inside the tea house, it takes a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have been made from the same lump of timber, from the counter and benches to the hardback booths around the walls. My dog is still trying to get in. You know what? I might let him in. Oh, just wait. You coming in? Fine. Sorry about that. My dog decided to change the last minute to not come in. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise the room is silent. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the "please wait to be seated" sign. Is this place closed or something? The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from inside a booth. I wasn't asleep, and welcome to the Shanghai. Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Her misaligned glasses and ruffled hair cast suspicion of her previous statement. Whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps into my mind. You work here now? What happened to the library? What? Lily? Hisao? Welcome to the Shanghai. Lily? Yuko, still waking up, jerks into a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process. Not progress. Process. My glasses! As I pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lily offers an explanation. Yuko works here part-time, as well as the library. It's one of the reasons why we like to come here. Yuko takes her glasses from my hands, shakingly putting them back on. Yes, that's right. Thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order whatever you like. But there may be a delay as I will have to make it myself. It's alright, Yuko. Just a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches will be fine. Right, I'll get right onto it. Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us still standing at the entrance. She pushes the half doors open before realizing that she hasn't seated us. I'm sorry. Please sit wherever you'd like. I'll be right back. Following her advice, I lead Lily to the nearest booth as Hanako follows. As I begin to sit next to Lily, I realize how appropriate this place is for Hanako. The high back booths totally separate you from the rest of the room, and it doesn't look like it gets all that many customers. All the furnishings, from the cushions on the benches to the condiment holders, look dated but aren't overly worn. What? My body just added the out part. I wonder if Lily deliberately selects places like this to take Hanako. She seems like the type that would go to lengths to cater to Hanako's unique predicament. So, Hisao, I didn't know you played chess. Well, not very well, but I do know how to play. I suppose the obvious question would be, who won? Lily's innocent smile makes me hesitate. I don't really want to look like I'm lording over my victory over Hanako.
Hisao did.
Yes, but, not by much. Damn, saying that out loud makes me feel like I've done something terrible. Well done, Hisao. Well done, Hisao. You've accomplished something I've only ever failed at. Thanks. I haven't played in ages, so it felt good to play again.
Yes, it did.
Okay, that voice was off.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Hanako fidgets with her hair a little and looks away as she replies, but a small smile emerges. It's a little more extreme of a reaction than I expected, but still kind of cute in that Hanako way. It throws me off. It throws me a little off guard, and Yuko, cataclysmically re-entered shocks me. I'm not familiar with that word. Cataclysmic? Cataclysmic re-entry shocks me back into conversation. There, I got it. Are you alright there, Yuko? Do you need a hand? I'm fine. I have to do this properly, it's my job. Concentration plays across her face while she stares at the tray in her hands, as if simply looking at its contents will hold them in place. Sadly, this doesn't... Is she shaking? She's shaking. This doesn't prove all that efficient. The cups and saucers slowly dance around, occasionally clattering as they collide with one another. I studied hospitality and cafe work. The best tip I got from the employers were just not to look at it, or else you'll worry about it more. Taking great care, Yuko sets the tray down on the table, with only the sublas of crashes. There, see? Well done? Thank you, Yuko. Yuko's head rockets downwards in her distinctive bow before answering. You're very welcome. Would you like to join us? There's something else I'd like to discuss about that recent order, if I may. Ah, that's right. Lily and Yuko were discussing a pile of books when I first met Hanako. Something about Lily helping with the braille. Yes. I didn't get the chance to go through them... wait, we didn't get a chance to go through them, did we? Yuko hastily sits down next to Hanako. Apparently her dedication to this job only goes as far as her concentration. Once it is broken, she suddenly loses it. I'll be in the library tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to try again. That sounds perfect. I'll meet you there after classes.
Lily?
Oh dear, that's right. Tomorrow's Monday. How could I have forgotten? I'm starting to feel a little left out of the loop here. Then again, that's to be expected. I have been here for barely a week, so it's impossible to know everyone's schedule. Well, perhaps we could come to some other arrangement. Yuko, will you be in the library later in the week? Maybe, but this is already overdue.
And there are some things I need.
This might be a problem. Lily ponders for a second before discovering the answer. This is still everyday fantasy. But this time, I don't know, sometimes when I just do the typical left click, the menu shows up. Even though I thought the menu only shows up when you like press the escape button. I wonder, might we be able to enlist the help of another, if need be? To do what? You lost me quite some time ago. Being volunteered for something without having the slightest idea what is going on isn't really my thing. And here I thought I had finally escaped the clutches of the student council and their repeated attempts to recruit me. Oh, of course. The other day I was helping Yuko sort the new braille books in the library. But Hanako and I usually go shopping on Monday afternoons. It's quieter on that day. On that day. Wait. On that day than on weekends. Last week we couldn't go because I was busy with the festival. I managed to slip away later in the week, but Hanako couldn't make it. Well, since I can't read Braille, I'm assuming you'd like me to go shopping with Hanako? Correct. You were a great help to me the other day. I think I can handle that. Hanako, what do you think?
If you don't mind.
Of course not. I'm still not familiar with all the stores in the area, so it sounds like a good idea. In Lily's route, Hanako just gives us her shopping list. Or am I thinking differently?
Okay.
Now that we have that arranged, shall we have some tea? It's now that I realize our tea has been sitting idly all this time, getting no hotter. It's my fault. Let me pour that for you. Yuko reaches out with shaking hands, but I intercept her. She looks in no state to be She looks in no state to be handling hot liquids. It's alright, I've got it. Since you've already made the tea and sandwiches, you've fulfilled your waitress duties, right? I guess? Yuko relaxes a little, but still watches eagerly as I share out the assortment. As I am about to bite into the sandwich, a low, loud rumble can be heard along with the flashes of light from outside. Ah, I take it the show has started. Only now, looking outside, I realize that dusk has come and gone, leaving us in the peak of twilight. Sparking tracers arc upwards, ready to explode in the floral shapes of fireworks. Let's go watch! Oh, sorry, Lily. Please, do not miss the show on my account. From what I've heard, this isn't a bad location to watch them from. Obviously there's no music here, but I probably need to try and fix that somehow in the future. With the exception of Lily, you can see Lily in the background. Or is that Hisao? With the exception of Lily, wait, let's show image. Oh no, that's just her buns. Never mind. Okay. With the exception of Lily, we rush to the window of the small tea house to watch the show. The strobe of colored lights plays across Hanako and Yuko's smiling faces, and for a second I forgot to look out the window. In this totally new world, there are few things that don't change. I think that's why the school makes such a fuss over this festival. It's a chance to show the similarities between everyone. The show is over all too quickly. Fireworks are expensive, even for the most well-funded schools. I mean, my high school wasn't that well-funded and we still managed to get fireworks for our shows. Before we return to our tea and sandwiches, Hanako turns to me.
Thanks for today. And tomorrow.
It's okay. I don't think that I could have faced those crowds either. On days like this, it's more relaxing to spend time away from everyone, don't you think?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been delaying this tea for far too long. Let's get back.
Sure.
We returned to the booth with our light meal. That sounded impressive. Bigger than last year at least. Yeah, it was great. I've never seen them put on such a show. It gets better every year. I'm afraid, however, that during that time the tea has gone cold. Oh no! Let me make some more. This is my fault. Calm down, Yuko. It's nobody's fault. I take a sip from my cup, just to prove the point. This tea isn't too bad cool. Anyway, it's like an iced tea. Really? Yes, really. If you add a bit of sugar, it's kinda nice.
Are you sure?
Wait, why did I give her a voice? I said I wasn't voice acting her. I'm positive. Now why don't you sit down and we'll finish this together? Sorry to interrupt, but have you played Metro? I wanna play Metro. I really love post-apocalyptic games. That's why I play Fallout and Code Vein, and I'm playing the Nier series in the future. I love post-apocalyptic games. And from what I heard, yeah, I'm playing Danganronpa in my channel. I heard Danganronpa is actually a post-apocalyptic game too, so I unintentionally chose that. So yeah, I want to play it in the future because like I said, I know I sound like a broken record. I really love post-apocalyptic games. So if I'm not broke, I'll try get it. But I have other games on my to buy list. Like I need to buy Nier. I plan to get Elden Ring sometime in the future. And I also plan to get the Devil May Cry series and the rest of the Danganronpa games. So it's a long list and I'm broke. But we'll see. Also, we'll see. I want to play it in the future. I also want to play more horror games and online games. There's so many games I want to play. Okay. And maybe I'll play a Sonic or a Mario game in the future too. I don't know. I talk about games, but I'm not really a gamer. Yuko doesn't seem convinced, but sits down regardless. She carefully measures up about 5 teaspoons of sugar and adds them to her tea. I said a bit of sugar. I know, but I like my tea sweet anyway. Curiously, I peer into her cup. As expected, hardly any of the sugar dissolves in the cold liquid. She stirs it before upturning the tea and drinking the contents, sugar and all, in a single mouthful. You're right. That's not bad at all. Good. I look back to Lily and Hanako. Both of them have finished their meals as I witness Yuko's personality in action. Not wanting to hold anyone up, I use her tactic and finish the remainder of my tea in one swirl. Well then, it seems we're all finished. Should we head back now, or should we wait seconds? Do we want seconds? Yuko's expression shows that this is quite clearly not a good idea. I think it would be best if we get back soon. We do have to get back before curfew after all. Oh, that's a good point. I'll meet you tomorrow, Yuko. I'll be looking forward to it, Lily. Goodbye, everyone. We make our way out of the small tea house and into the dark of night. Lily and Hanako once again take point, but under the cover of darkness, Hanako seems slightly less stressed than she did on the trip here. We move against the occasional group of people, emptying the school grounds, but Hanako seems to lead us along a few minor roads, avoiding the bulk of the crowd. It's rinse painting. Outside the dorms, the school seems strangely quiet when compared to the noise of the day. Well then, thank you, thank you both for today. I think I learned a lot. You're most welcome, but I'm afraid I must be going. Today's been a long day. That's right, Lily spent all of her day on her feet, and I can imagine that walking outside of the school would be tiring, pretty tiring for her. I feel a pang of guilt as I remember that I was probably the only one in the school that around 10 this morning. Got up around 10 this morning. Sure thing. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Isao.
Night.
The girls returned to their dorm, and I to mine. Actually, now that I consider it, today tired me out as well. Are we getting the Hanako cutscene? Yep, we're getting the Hanako opening. Also, fair warning, apparently Hanako's route is considered the saddest out of the 5/7 dateable routes. I have a, you know, I'm the protagonist because I have a hoge. See, I have an hoge. Act 2, Hide and Seek. We're officially starting Hanako's route. My alarm blares into my ears, only to be swiftly silenced by my fist. My body switches into auto mode, carrying my subconscious self out of bed and into my uniform. As always, my bottle of pills sit on my desk, patiently waiting for me to take them, and pick out my daily dosage of medicine, 17 pills a day. Before I know it, I'm opening the door to class 3-3. Glad to see that I'm not the only one who seems to be a little hungover from festival week. Every face in the class looks gaunt. With the festival now over, it's as if everyone's life dreams have been achieved. There goes that problem again. With nothing to live, with nothing left to live for, the students have relied on instincts alone to guide them to class. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I slowly make my way to my seat, and it's only then I realize why the room is so peaceful. The seats beside mine are blissfully empty. The world's loudest interpreter for the deaf has yet to arrive. And you jinxed it, Hisao. Darn it, Hisao. Just as I'm about to sit down, The door flies open, revealing a resplendent Misha. Drills bobbing from the dramatic entrance and arms outstretched towards the sky. Yahoo! Wait, Valley Girl voice. Yahoo! It's all over. It would appear that not everyone is affected by the post-festival depression. The rest of the class glare at her, obviously thinking the same thing I am. Misha, still frozen in the doorway with her arms still in the air, nervously looks around. It's obvious that she senses the foul mood, but can't work out exactly what to do. Suddenly, she jerks forward. Hey! As she stumbles into the classroom, she reveals Shizune, arms still extended from where she shoved Misha. Thanks for the entertainment, but shouldn't you two take your seat? Still slightly embarrassed, Misha takes a few seconds to realize that she has to translate. Oh yeah, Shi-chan says she's not happy about you ditching us last week. We were really busy. Is that so? What about the stuff I already did for you two? She says that only counts for council members. Since you declined, she doesn't owe you anything. Misha leans closer and whispers conspiratively into my ear. Actually, I think she's a little sore that you didn't spend the day with her. She's really thankful for your work last week, though. So she's a tsundere, but she, according to Ragnar, she's still a bitch. But from what I heard about her route, it's understandable why she's like this. Sensing that she's being talked about, Izune lightly wraps her fingers on her desk until Misha turns around to face her. I can't understand any of the fast-paced signing that's going on, but from Shizune's slight embarrassed expression and Misha's poorly contained laughter, I can guess. Hello, how are ya? While this exchange is happening, the door opens once again, but this time at a much more reasonable pace. Hanako quietly enters the room and pulls the door closed behind her. Peering out of her... I'm fine, I'm just a little tired, but overall I'm fine. Peering out from under her hair, she quickly scans the classroom. Our eyes meet, and she suddenly stiffens. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and then walks over to my desk.
Good morning, Good morning, Isao.
Morning, Hanako. You're a little late, aren't you?
I was talking to Lily about today.
Oh, so you got her list then. We can leave straight after class in that case.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to it. Hanako briefly flashes her embarrassed smile at me, then hurries off to her seat. Stupid game. And as you've noticed, my voice is a little off today, but yeah. I'm still doing the voices, because why not? It's good practice for me. I can easily do that voice when I'm doing Mikan, because Mikan isn't exactly whispering. During classes, it becomes apparent that it's not only the students that are a little despondent after the festival. Muto simply gives us a list of exercises from the textbook and then sits behind his desk. I totally forgot about the brief lunch period for a moment. Such is the banality of the day. It's mind-numbing, and everyone seems surprised when the bell signaled the end of the lessons. As I'm packing my bags, Shizune and Misha flank and entrap me. Hey, Hichan, it's not too late to join up. There's a lot of post-festival paperwork for us to complete. Sorry, Misha. I've got plans. As if sensing the cue, Hanako appears behind me, holding a small bag and trying to avoid eye contact with the outside world. Misha's eyes widen and she bursts into laughter. Haha, you move fast, don't you, Hichan? We won't disturb your date any further. Hahaha. I'm not gonna actually laugh because the way she laughs is weird. Behind the roaring Misha, I see Shizune taking far too little interest in the scene. I might be taking this the wrong way, but I think she's deliberately ignoring me. I feel a gentle tug on my shirt and turn to see Hanako's eyes fixed firmly on the floor.
Let's...
Got it. Shizune, Misha, I'll see you later. I'm still not interested in the council. Spoil sport? Misha and Shizune retreat into the hallway, happily signing to each other. Got all your stuff? Let's head off. Oops. Floods of students pour out of the school gates and onto the road and into town. It's a little weird. It's almost a scene from another classroom, but the illusion fades because of the occasional wheelchair or missing limb. One thing I do notice is that nobody is alone. And as Hanako and I pass through the gates, I notice that she closes the distance between us. Not enough to be considered close, but she certainly isn't at her usual, just a little far precision. I guess we're not familiar enough for her to get as close as she does with Lily. I mean, Lily's blind too, so that's why they're very close. However, even though she moved a little closer to me physically, mentally she seems to have traveled a mile. Did I say mile? I meant to say mile. Her hands clutched around the leather straps of her bag to the point of widening her knuckles, her head down and her mouth pursed closed. I still can't believe this is called air guitar. She almost looks like she's been walked to the principal's office for the first time. I tried to stifle a giggle at the thought, but it is futile.
What's the matter?
I guess there's no point in hiding it. Sorry, for a second there, it looked like you were getting in trouble.
What do you mean?
I think you need to relax a little. We're not going too far, and it's only students around, right?
Right.
It bothers me a little to see Hanako so worked up. And you do this every week, don't you?
Yes, with Lily.
Of course with Lily. I wonder, has she ever left school without her? It doesn't seem like much as at first glance, but Hanako's dependence on Lily is absurdly heavy. If she can't even handle leaving the school without her, how would she have managed to survive if the two had never met? Would she have found someone else to latch onto? And what drew her to Lily? I still don't know what's going on with the game. Was it her lack of eyesight? Or was Lily just kind enough to lend a hand? I wonder if anyone would have fit the bill. Well, I'm here. Besides, we're not going far. It'll be over before you know it. Hanako's knuckles slowly regain their color as she tries to hide a small smile. But the effort of that seems to prevent further conversation. We travel side by side down the winding road towards the town. The crowd of students thins as we continue along the sidewalk. Faster students rush ahead. The less mobile ones fall behind, verifying the crowd into nothingness. There we are, Aura Mart. By the time we reach a convenience store, we are practically alone. Using me as a shield between herself and the attendant, Hanako moves through the narrow aisles, adding an assortment of items to her baskets. Bread, milk, tea, thyme? What kind of convenience store sells herbs? Then again, nothing about this town seems normal, which may not be such a bad thing in retrospect. Everything is so different and uncomfortable, dwelling on such matters isn't really an option. When I think about it, it reminds me of Hanako. No matter how much you try, you can't escape her scars. They still interrupt my train of thought when I see them. As much as I don't want to admit it to myself, I think I'm forcing myself to try to ignore them. Not that I'm scar-free myself. The jagged line down my sternum will never completely fade away. Yeah, that's how I reacted when I first got my arm scar. I just have the luxury of being able to hide it easily. But in a way, both our scars remind me that we're all in this place for a reason. So you realize you're just like her? Oh god. Hanako throws one last item into her basket, then sheepishly holds it out to me, along with a few banknotes.
Could you please?
It takes me a second to understand what she's trying to say. Also, I read that Hanako's disability isn't her scars. Her disability is her social anxiety. Oh, you want me to pay for this? She nods, but doesn't look up. I guess this task falls to Lily on usual occasions. Sure, let me just grab a couple of things. Hastily, I grab a few essential items for myself and head for the counter with Hanako in close tow. The attendant gives me an indifferent nod as he scans in the items. I suppose just ignoring us in one way to deal with the anomalies of Yamaku. They must get a lot of students here, being the closest store to the school. The staff must all have their own way of dealing with us. Or maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me who thinks twice about my unique schoolmates. Our transaction complete, Hanako and I head back onto the streets. The road is pretty... What's this called again? Concord, right? No, this one's afternoon. The road is pretty much abandoned now. the students that were heading out have already left, and nobody has started returning just yet. And with only the school ahead on the road, there doesn't seem to be anyone else around. The emptiness certainly reflects on Hanako, her arms by her side, each carrying a bag, her head no longer bowed, and back to the upright position. It's almost as if she were enjoying this walk. So, why all the weird things? Mixed spices. Mixed spice? Why would you need that in school?
I sometimes like to make food.
Well, yeah, so do I, but spices? That's a little more advanced, don't you think? This is where Ragnar and I likes to joke around, because using spices in your dishes isn't really advanced. So we keep making fun of Hisao being uncultured.
Not really.
Well, I think it's cool. You'll have to teach me one day.
Sure.
She doesn't seem all that sure, but pushing the point doesn't seem all that wise. At the very least, she seems a great deal happier than she did on the walk down here. That alone makes me a little happier. Outside the girls' dorm, Hanako and I sort out the grocery bags with our respective purchases. In comparison, my things look positively plain. I tell you, you're putting me to shame here. The button again.
No, I'm not.
I'm only joking. I have a stack of homework that I skipped last week, so I must leave now. Will you be alright getting that to your room?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure? Okay then, I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
We part ways and I return to my room. Piles of papers sit upon my desk, begging to be completed. With the entire ruckus of the last week, I've barely had time to catch up. I tried to keep up with my studies while I was in the hospital, but some of this stuff I've never seen before, even back at my old school. Totally unprepared, I pop the top of a can of drink and get to work. Katawa Shoujo. The days are really starting to heat up. This morning, I awoke covered in sweat. By the time the student body starts leaving their dorms for breakfast and morning duties, the sun has taken full effect. Oddly, this puts me in high spirits. It's not even 8 yet. I feel that this day is going to be one of those pleasant, tranquil, warm ones. If I weren't at school that considered every absence a sign of life-threatening situation, I consider skipping the whole day and just relaxing in the school gardens. Yes, today will be a genuinely lazy day. For a second, I stop in mid-stretch and consider the nurse's warning about exercise. Maybe I should have kept up with those morning jogs. No, if I did, I'd be in Emmy's route. And I don't really have a voice for Emmy besides my typical Aussie accent. Running with someone like Emmy might have been a little testing, but if I work at my own pace... who am I kidding? I can't stick to something like that without some kind of motivation. you need to be motivated. It's not like I could sit around all day. The walk to and from the convenience store counts as exercise, right? Especially the walk back up the hill. Yeah, it's no big deal. Compared to months lying in a hospital bed, I'm getting plenty exercise. It seems that I'm not alone in my appreciation of the day. Nearly every student of the class is glancing through the window and into the tranquilizing sky. Even the steadfast Shizune seems to lack her usual vigor for schoolwork. Misha, as blazing as ever, has even unbuttoned the top of her shirt and is fanning herself with a notebook. I must have been staring as she's sticking her tongue out at me. However, she shows no signs of halting her efforts, nor is she trying to hide that fact. The lunch... Okay, I was speaking over the bell. The lunch bells seem to catch everyone by surprise, and the class empties us at a much slower pace than usual. The heat seems to be draining the need to rush from everyone. Well, almost everyone.
Hazel?
Hey there, Hanako. What can I do for you today? Hanako already has a lunch bag in hand. I don't have to be a detective to work out where this is going.
Would you like to have lunch with us again? I brought enough for everyone.
Awesome. You don't have to be so stiff about it though.
Right.
I take it we're going to the tea room?
But please. Lily said she'll meet us in there, so we should we head together?
Sounds like a plan. This heat has made me pretty hungry. Hanako breathes a sigh of relief, and I gather my things together. As usual, the aura of the tea room is refreshing, feeling isolated from the rest of the world. Then again, the usual din of the school seems to be a bit subdued, most likely from the laziness promoted by the heat exhaustion. Hanako slowly spreads her food on the table, intently focusing on every little movement, as if she's trying to keep her mind off other thoughts. It's not much, but I can tell from her demeanor that she has prepared everything with utmost care. I guess Lily isn't here yet. Should we start without her? This is cold? Frapperies.
She'll be here soon.
Hanako struggles with the lid of the container of rice. Here, let me help with that. I take the container from Hanako's hands and try to force the lid open. Try as I might, it seems wedged shut. Let me guess. Did you put this in while the rice was still hot?
Yes, I was in a rush.
I put the container on the table between us. I thought so. It looks like this is wedged shut. We'll need some hot water to get it open. The mouse. But that could be a pain in here. Wait, I can't read. But that could be a pain in here. We'd get water everywhere. Well, in that case, How about I contribute to today's meal? At the door, Lily smiles while holding a bag stocked with various buns and bread rolls. I can't help but do the same. Since you two had a change of plans because of me, I thought I would bring a little something. Thanks, Lily. Let me get that for you. With a little guidance, Lily's bread assortment joins Lily's Hanako's riceless platter. Wow, I'm getting tongue twisted. I hastily make some tea to complete the picture. Well, I'm looking forward to this. Is that a prequel reference? As I take a bite, I noticed Hanako trying her hardest to not look like she's looking at me. It's nothing special, but then again, I can't really complain. I'm pretty lazy when it comes to cooking for myself. Not bad. I guess this is made with the stuff you bought. Yes, I guess this is made with the stuff you bought yesterday.
Yes.
Hanako's eyes shot at me, begging for some kind of feedback. Well, it was clearly worth it. Thanks, Hanako.
I wanted to show you this after yesterday.
It's okay. I was just a little surprised at the stuff you were buying. Hanako always liked to experiment when it comes to food. I think it's good, most of the time. While Lily's smile doesn't waver, the slight change in her tone tells me that things have not always gone so well in the past. Hey, I experiment with food, so does my dad. I think I got it from him. I mean, my dad's also the fiend half of me. My mom's a dragon half. So sometimes she's not happy with the experimentation. It's not like Hanako has many people to sample her cooking. Hang on, was Lily waiting for me to go first? She didn't start eating until after I said that it was alright. Her cheeky grin tells me that was a deliberate action on her part. I'll have to try and work out how to get one over her in the future to make up for this. Well, it's good. And that's all that counts, right? Why is this scene called Tea Leaves?
Right.
Lily, satisfied at not being the first to sample Hanako's creation, begins to consume the food in front of her. I find myself staring as I watch her chopsticks gently touch the plate, their tips delicately poking and tracing to quickly ascertain the positions of the food as she dexterously picks it up. One might think she were a child playing with her food, if not for the situation, though. She does it with such care and thoughtlessness that it's obvious this is simply how she eats this kind of meal. Not wanting to miss out, I start filling myself up. Hanako takes a different approach, waiting until Lily and I have our hands clear before quickly snatching up her share. Before long, the containers are empty, save for the still shut rice container. Thank you, Hanako. That was filling.
No. Thank you for the bread.
Yes, it would have been a disaster if not for that. You're both welcome. But now, I must be getting back. It's far too easy to be late after eating here. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think we'll just clean up here and then head off. Well then. Good day. Lily leaves, her cane tapping away down the quiet hallway. Hanako and I quickly pack our things and stay seated, waiting for the bell. Together, we stare out the window and into the endless azure sky. As if it weren't for the pealing of the bells, I would have sworn that time had stopped. The urge to skip class raises in my gut. I shoot a glance at Hanako, who shows no signs of moving either.
Not just yet.
The interval between the warning bells and the end of lunch bells passes in the blink of an eye. We should really go. People will freak out and start a search party if we skip. Hanako sighs.
You're right.
She slowly rises to her feet, and I follow suit. Silently, we make our way up the old stairs to the 3rd floor, and then to our classroom. At the door, I take point and open the door ahead of Hanako, bowing my head down in apology in advance. I'm sorry we're late, teacher. I am greeted not by stern words, nor by an angered instruction to take my seat, but simply by the silence created by 15 or so students trying not to laugh. Muto, ever tardy, has yet to arrive. However, the fact that Hanako and I arrived together is bluntly obvious. Make that about 14 students trying and one student failing. The lovers return. This is just called generic happy music? I mean, this is Hanako's route, so she's not wrong. Yeah, thanks. You can calm down now. I step through the door and realize that Hanako is firmly pressed against my back, hiding herself from the class. With my steps coming closer to my desk, she eventually breaks from me and stiffly walks to her own. Her efforts to mentally block everyone's presence from her mind are written fairly clearly on her face. Quickly checking the door for any signs of the teacher's arrival, I make a trip to Hanako's desk and whisper in her ears. Don't worry about Misha. She's always like this. I enjoyed myself today. Don't sweat it, okay? Hanako nods her head behind her folded arms, and still doesn't show her face. I yearn to stay and console her more, but Muto picks this exact moment to enter the class halfway through his lecture, as if started it in the hallway. Which of course is directly proportional to the charge that inversely proportionally to the square of the distance. He's so engrossed in his speech that he doesn't even notice me sneaking back into my seat from Hanako's desk. While Muto's spell rambles on, Misha leans over to me. The teacher may not have noticed your tardiness, but I did. That much is obvious from the show you just put on. I have been instructed to let you off the hook for today, but only on one condition. Oh, what would that be? You have to help us this afternoon. I crane my neck to look over Misha's shoulder. Shizune is conveniently not making eye contact with me. Fine, just for today. I've already told you I'm not joining the council, remember? Of course. Doing so would be considered, She looks down at her notebook, obviously looking for her place in her script. Under juris, and hence would be against regulations. How very strange of you to be considerate of regulations now. Things should be done by the book. It's just that the book hasn't been written for every situation, so there are times when it can be ignored. And yet, you two wonder why no one else wants to be in the student council. Poking her tongue out at me, Misha returns to her workbook, and we battle our way through the latter half of the school day. Before I can even stand up, Misha and Shizune have placed their hands on both my shoulders. Hey, I said I'd help, damn. This is just insurance. Wait, he said she said Hisao, even though she normally says He-chan. This is insurance, Hisao, insurance.
Hisao?
Hanako timidly tries to leave the room by circling us. I suddenly realize that this may be my only chance to escape. Oh, hey Hanako, what's up? Hey, what makes you think we've got time to chat? Oh, relax. This won't take long. Sorry, Hanako. You were saying?
I was going to the library and I thought...
Hanako's thumbs dance around each other and her eyes flit around the room, looking for somewhere else but us. Anything else but us. Sorry, Hanako, but Hisao has to come with us. He's got work to do. Oh, but you can help too if you'd like. So, how about it, Hisao? Ragnar warned me about this one. Ragnar warned me about this one, even though I want to spend more time with Hanako. I need to do something else, so let me quickly look up what to do. You see, I'm not gonna look at the other answers, I'm just gonna look at this one specifically. Because Ragnar warned me about it. Let's see. I mean, I could save. So if I help the council, it apparently leads me to the bad ending. But the guide is outdated, so it's not the same prompts. So I think it's this one. Okay, yeah, I was told to do this one. I've done enough work for the council already. Okay. Hey, Shizune. I know I said I'd help, but but forget, but I forgot I've already made plans. Besides, I helped out more than my fair share last week, didn't I? Yeah. Then I quickly exited to avoid spoilers. I promise I'll make it up to you some other time. Shizune and Misha release their grip on me and have a long and deep silent conversation. Well, you have a point there. To be honest, we were only going to spend the rest of the day to budget on cakes. So, if you're not there, it works out better. More cakes for us. Ha 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 ha. Shizune about faces and marches out the door, and Misha skips out after her. Well, that was easier than I thought. It was going to be. Last week, those two were like bloodhounds or prison guards, or maybe prison guards bred from bloodhounds. I can't believe I just thought that, let alone say it out loud. I think I need to move away from Kenji. As you should. Never mind. Anyway, should we go to the library?
Sure.
Hanako follows me through the still crowded halls to the library, using me as a shield. As soon as we were through the door, Hanako bolts from the counter where Yuko is stacking books. Before I can catch up, Hanako has whispered something to her. You'd find that in nonfiction, but I don't know where exactly. If you want, I can look it up. I can look it up. The mouse again.
Never mind.
Hey, Yuko, what's all this about? Oh, Hisao. Hanako was just looking for a book on...
Nothing.
A book on nothing? In this non-fiction section?
I was just...
I shot a glance at Yuko. She looks like she's about to burst from the pressure of keeping Hanako's request secret. Yuko, what did... Yes, she was looking for a book of... chess book. I take a mental note to never entrust Yuko with any important information.
Yuko!
I'm sorry, Hanako. It just slipped out. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Come on, I'll give you a hand. I should really brush up on my skills too.
Okay.
Yuko disappeared behind the counter in shame as Hanako and I wander into the depths of the non-fiction section. I know there's supposed to be a system for categorizing these books, but I don't see how anyone could decipher it without spending half their life researching it. Well, I think it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it's called the Dewey Decimal System, as well as categorizing each book by genre and theme. That's probably why all the librarians are necrotic? Towards the end of the aisle, between the book on card tricks and some book on kids' games, stands a single book bearing the title Chess Tactics for Champions. I see, Hanako wants to play Fire Emblem. I'm kidding. Because there's a meme that says that Fire Emblem is just waifu chess. It's a strategy game. I can see how they make the connection, but it's not really like chess that much. Before I could reach for it, Hanako has the book in her hands, clutching it to her chest. Well, I guess that's yours then. Mind if I borrow it when you're finished?
Sure. I just haven't really played against anyone but Lily before, so I thought.
Nah, damn, it's not like I was trying to beat Hanako deliberately or anything, but she seems to have taken it to heart. Then again, at least this means she wants to play with me again. That's a plus, right? Huh. Well, it's not like I'm a master or anything. I just played it a bit before. It occurs to me that I haven't told Hanako about my condition. I falter for a second, deciding to cover my tracks. This is a conversation for another day. Before I came here...
Are you alright?
Well, I was just remembering something. Well, when I think about it, I shouldn't be afraid to tell Hanako about my condition and my time in the hospital. Judging by her scars, she probably spent a fair amount of time in the hospital bed. But for some reason, I couldn't bring it up, at least not today, not on short notice. Eager to break off the conversation, I grab a random book from the shelf. It's some book on the world's fastest roller coasters. Published in 1982. Well, not very up to date, but it should at least be interesting. You'll be surprised. Well, we both got books now. Should we sit down? Hanako seems to accept my bluff, and we head to the reading nook in the back of the library. Neither of us say a word. We simply read our books and start reading. Wait, what? Did I read that wrong? Uh... Wait. Text history. Near us say a word, we simply open our books, then we start reading. Okay. I did read that wrong. I tried to read my book, but it would seem that in 1982, roller coasters weren't nearly as large as the ones built in the decades since. Most of the ones listed are made of wood. Something about that doesn't seem safe to me. If I'm going to ride on something potentially dangerous, I want it to be made out of steel or some space-age alloy that has big words like titanium and lithium. Lithium? I quickly lose interest and my eyes wander across the reading area to rest on Hanako. Hanako seems absorbed in her book, flickering back and forth through the pages as if confirming what she just read. I wonder if it's actually effective or if she's just overloading herself. She's unconsciously brushing her hair from her face, temporarily revealing her scar tissue. I'm still not sure about the protocol here. Is it right to ask her about her scars or her past? How long was she in the hospital? Does she still visit a doctor? These all seem like the questions that you'd ask someone who just transferred to your school, translated into local language. This scene is called Chess and Slides. But to date, no one has directly asked me any of them. Well, except Rin, but I don't think I should use her as a guide to proper social behavior. Yeah, she was high. For the time being, I'll just keep my mouth shut. If someone wants to know something, then they'll tell you. Trying to force the issue might drive Hanako back into herself. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to close the library now. Already? I checked my watch. Somehow, I was lost in thought, Nearly 2 hours have passed. Do you want to check out those books? I can do it on the way out.
But please.
I'm done. I'll drop this one on the way back. It wasn't as interesting as I first thought. Hanako marks her place with a slip of paper and stands up. The girls head to the counter, and I return my book to what I think is the right shelf. Yuko scans Hanako's book with practiced precision, yet still managed to fumble it. Oh, there we go. Third time lucky. Since this is a non-fiction book, you can only have it for a week. Wait, why?
That's okay.
Yuko shuts down the library's computer and herds us out the door. There, nice. Hi, Joss, how are you? Oh, Firewall, how are ya? I'm doing well. I didn't think it was this late already. But you're the one who told us you had to close. Yes, but I know, but that was before I looked at the time. I'll see you later. Yuko bolts down the hall, her handbag trailing behind her like an awkward streamer. What? I feel cold out. Were streamers even a thing in this era? I think this was like 2010, 2014. Yeah, what kind of weeds? I'm kidding, I know what you're talking about. I guess all librarians are necrotic. Is your tulip. You're talking about my cosplay sword.
Huh?
Oh, never mind. I was just thinking that I've never met a librarian that can organize their time, no matter how good they are with their books.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Hanako smiles in amusement. It wasn't meant to be a joke, but I must have reminded her of some other librarian or something. I'm just touching up that sword. Like I changed the Suba, aka the guard. That's what they call it in katanas, and I need to paint that soon. And I need to fix up some of the designs of the sword. Then I also need to work on the sheath.
I had to get back.
Yeah, me too. I didn't realize it was this late. Thanks for letting me hang out with you.
No problem.
I'm going to my dormitory room now. Anyway, so do you mind if I tag along?
Okay.
Okay, I'm getting my voice back. Hanako sets off ahead of me, and I need to jog a little to reach her side. We walk through the gardens, eventually arriving in front of the dorm rooms. When you were playing games, Jaws, I was studying the blade. I mean, technically speaking, I did too, because in high school, fencing was one of the sports we had to do. Man, you walk pretty fast. I used to play in a soccer club, and you managed to outpace me. I kinda regret saying that. It has less to do with her pace than the fact that my condition has significantly worsened my fitness. Hanako's reaction is odd. I expect an awkward attempt to downplay her walking speed, but she just blushes while looking at her feet and smiling. Silence hangs in the air between us. That happens often around Hanako, but feels slightly different than usual this time. After a few seconds, I try to break the silence. Here you go. See you in class tomorrow?
Sure.
I bet that voice makes you feel nostalgic, Firewall. Hanako waves a short goodbye before pushing her way through the dorm's doors. I stand and look at them for a while before making my way to my own dormitory room. Oh wow, I'm starting to lose track of the time. It's already 4:20 my time. Katawa Shoujo. Chirping birds. Normally this would be a good time to reflect upon the beauty of nature. But it's 6 a.m. I cover my head with my pillow. I slam my face into the mattress, hoping that the impact will send me instantly back to sleep. Futile. I toss and turn, but sleep simply won't return to me. Alright, nature, you've won. See? I'm getting up now. Or 20, blaze it? And I mean, you were pulling out weeds earlier. The lack of sleep weighs my mind down. And there's only one remedy for this: a nice, hearty breakfast. It would be nice to be the first person here. To be the first person to dig into a piping hot plate of food, to sit wherever I desire. It would have been nice. But even my exceptionally early start has put me behind the most diligent students. I guess there are a few people that have early starts here for no reason or another. A group of students in sports clothes hurtle around one table, eagerly discussing game plans in between inhaling great gulps of food. Scattering around the hall are a number of blurry-eyed students, probably suffering from the same ailment as myself. Noisy birds. And of course, there are the people that actually enjoy getting up this early. The ones with their bags stuffed with textbooks and completing homework. It's hard not to despise people like that. Even more so when you're tired yourself. I know, right? Morning people are not our breed. Picking out a familiar face from the thin crowd, I head towards the nearest table. Lily sits alone, delicately feeling her way around a small plate of eggs with her fork. It's Emmy, run away. Emmy's gonna kill us. It's almost a shame to interrupt her and her clockwork movements. I wonder if this is how a blind person zones out, simply moving in predetermined patterns, learned over the years. Imagine waking up early, to be honest. Over the years, just like a sighted person would eat while reading a newspaper. Good morning, Lily. I didn't expect you to be here this early.
Ah, Isao, you startled me. I didn't know you took breakfast this early.
I don't. This is an exception. This is an exception to the rule. I greatly prefer to be late to school than early to breakfast. Yo, what I miss? Have we smashed? No, we haven't. Lily gives a small sigh at my admitted tardiness as I begin eating my food. It doesn't take long for her to lapse back into her previous mindless mumbling. Each short motion lacks energy. I suppose this is similar to letting your eyes wander while performing an ordinary chore. You're still on about that? But after a few repetitions of the find food eat food cycle, Lily puts her fork down and dabs her lips with a napkin. Lily dabs. So, do you mind if I ask a question? Damn, all I want is a little food and about 4 hours of sleep. And nobody says, "Can I ask you a question for a simple question?" If I have woken up at 5 in the morning, I don't even bother with sleeping. Same here. That's why I stream 2 a.m. my time all the way to 5 a.m. I do somewhat get asleep afterwards. Sure. Do you think of Hanako as a friend? Also, here's a fun fact in the beta. To get into Lily's route, Lily admits that she was trying to hook you up with Hanako, but she ends up falling for you instead. Because she wanted Hanako to grow as a person, so she wanted to hook you up with Hanako. But she ends up falling for you instead. This seems like a leading question. There's no music. I guess so. Why do you ask? No real reason. I do have another question though. Why is it that you think of her as a friend? This is well above my level. What is she expecting from me? I'm not really sure. I guess it's because she's a little different in the way she deals with people. Since I've known her, she hasn't really connected with anyone. She doesn't seem interested in other people, and I think people are a little scared of by her appearance. It's also because I'm the protagonist, so yeah. Wait, I missed that. What? I caught it in the corner of my eye, and somehow my chat logs didn't capture what I think Spyro said. Something about a threesome? That's the only thing I caught. Really? I thought that kind of thing was, well, discouraged here. Discriminating and such. If I were to put it one way. She frows her brow in thought, a move which makes me slightly anxious as to what she's plucking from her mind. Is everything okay, Joss? Are you feeling better? Yeah, I'm feeling better. I mean, earlier the stream I was kind of losing my voice because I just took the pills that the doctor gave me. I'd say that you're a little naive. Naive? I'd be insulted if it weren't for the slightly cynical grin on her face. I see. While Yamaku has a strong sense of community compared to other schools, it's far from being free from conflict. Rules cannot remove human nature. After all, wait, I need to reread that. Rules cannot remove human nature after all, only suppress it. Are you talking about the rules of nature, Lily? That's something I've noticed, actually. Just little things, like how certain people and avoid cliques. Certain people in cliques avoid each other in hallways. It's no different than my old school, really. Even Lily and Shizune could be considered bitter rivals, even though they both seem like fairly accepting people. So this song is called Lullaby of Open Eyes. I'm guessing this is Lily's theme? Spyro, it's your cue. Rules of Nature lyrics in chat. Well, at least the Misha tinted Shizune does. Who knows what actually goes on with her fingers and behind her glasses. I guess you're right, but when I first came here, everything was a bit of a shock. I kept on making mistakes, or at least thinking I was making mistakes. Like when we first met, I said, I see to you. I didn't know if that was considered rude or anything. So I tried to just put it off in the back of my mind, treating people any differently and that kind of thing. So I didn't. I told myself that Hanako and you and everyone else are just normal, and I tried to avoid the obvious. I tried to talk to Hanako as if she were any other person, so we became friends. At least that's how I think it happened. But you know, I feel guilty from saying something like that out loud, as if it took extra effort to think of Hanako or you or anyone here as normal people. There we go, there's Firewall. I don't think that's right. Hisao, I think you are naive, but I also think that you are a good person. It is perhaps one of your better traits. Yeah, I think this is Lily's theme. Yeah, it's what... I suppose. I can take that as a compliment. Tell me, are you free tonight? If you don't count homework, then I'm free as the breeze. In that case, would you care to join myself and Hanako for tea? I don't have that much money at the moment, so going out isn't really... Oh, I didn't mean going out. Just here, this evening. You can access the classrooms in the evening here? No, that's not what I meant. Hanako and I often use my room for tea parties together. Please feel free to drop by after dusk. Sure, I see no problem with that. What's your room number? 225. Room 25 on the second floor. Okay, sure. Well then... well then... I had best be off. I have class representative duties to attend to after all. Until this evening, Hisao. Yeah, in Hanako's route, Lily does give off a more motherly vibe, rather than a mature girlfriend vibe. Yeah, catch you later. Hang on. Was I just invited to a girl's room after hours? Is that even allowed? There is curfew here, but I've never heard any rules about visitors in the dorm rooms. Even still, this is enough to get my sleep-deprived brain jump-started. Oh no, you horn dog. Is how you horn dog, this gave you energy? Add that to a lukewarm breakfast and you have one hell of a pick-me-up. I grudgingly go to class, still a little excited at the prospect of breaking the rules. I feel like a kid planning to sneak out of his window at night. Well, maybe that's going a little too far, but when you compare an invitation to a party to 6 or so lectures, I know which one wins. Misha and Shizune do little to relieve my boredom either. For once they seem determined to actually complete Mudo's assignments. Nevertheless, the day eventually winds to a close. Or is it winds? I think it's wind. I hurry back to my room and brush my hair. Wash up and comb my hair. Thankfully, I don't run into Kenji. Before long, I'm leaving the boys' dorm. Your choice? I'm pretty sure it was no choice. I nervously rapped on the door, marked 225. checking my watch once again. Isao? Is that you, Isao? The door's open. You can come in. Mikan? Lily's voice leads through the door and soothes my nerves. This is the first time I've been invited to a girl's room after dark. Even though I know there's no ulterior, ulterior, ulterior motives behind this invitation, it doesn't stop my mind running wild with possibilities. One guy, two girls, in a dorm room, with a tea set. He wasn't that nervous compared to Lily's route because he actually had a reason to come, which was Hanako's birthday. When I put it like that, it sounds a little dodgy. I probably messed. I was only checking in the corner of my eye. You did mess up. You said your choice. It's no choice. Giving a small sigh to steady myself, I gingerly put my hand on the handle and opened the door, craning my head inside to see inside. It's a CG again. What's this song called? To Become One. The door opens completely, and I catch my first glimpse of Lily's room. I think the only time we go into Hanako's room is the bad ending? I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm not that familiar with Hanako's route compared to Lily's route. Her furniture looks almost antique, but the bare walls and the flat surfaces are barely decorated at all. Lily's eyes. In the center of the room, if you want a better look. Whoops, wrong. Here you are. Where was I up to? In the center of the room sits a low table where I see a small tea set at rest. It seems that everything in this room has its place, possibly excluding the several piles of books stacked up against the wall. My sense of vision isn't the only one to be stimulated. The faint smell of something can be picked up in the air. Nail polish, perfume, makeup. It's hard to describe in any other way other than girly. Jaws moment? What Jaws moment? I didn't skip anything this time. My eyes finish their quick sweep of the room before returning their position onto the girls. Lily sits next to the small table wearing her very dark blue pajamas. Dark blue pajamas. How can you accuse people being... Hey, I'm half dragon. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not a horn dog, because my dragon half is suppressing it. Dark blue pajamas with shorts that show plenty of her alluring pale legs. Opposing her, Hanako sits adorned with a conservative light pink gown. Her eyes are firmly fixed between her legs. Wait, her hands, not her arms. Her shoulders forward and her head down, as if trying to hide herself in it. It would be easy for her to do. It looks about 2 sizes too big for her. Waves of flannel flow from her frame. Flannel? From her frame, making her look like a child playing dress up in her parents' clothes. She looks up to confirm my identity, and the... Lily, my eyes are out here. Is that what the... I can feel you. She could be like, I can feel you staring. in the big and the beginnings of a thin smile creep across her face before vanishing so fast that I can't be sure they they ever were there. There's no point in standing in the doorway, Hasao. And you could tell from here there were two different artists. Like every time you see the girls standing side by side, you could tell that they had different artists. I take a step into the room, closing the door behind me. Oh, here's your favorite. Ara ara. I'm afraid this is wait, ara ara. I'm afraid this really is a small room for the three of us. Would you like to take a seat? I slowly walk to the table and sit down, trying my hardest not to disturb anything along the way. Jaws moment. What Jaws moment? The ara ara? I can't help but steal. Yes, yes. I also can't help but steal a quick glance at Lily's top as I sit. To be robbed of sight would be a most terrible fate. Well now, how would you like some tea? Hanako, would you please pour us? Why do we get ara-aras and will you please pour? I mean, Lily is a mother figure to Hanako. So by extension, if I'm dating Hanako, Lily's technically my mother-in-law. So she's going to be motherly to both of us.
Sure. Hisao, would
I like how this chapter is called Mad Hatter.
Would you like?
I would love some tea. Do you need a hand?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Lily finds it difficult to resist a smile at her companion's nervousness, something I can't really blame her for. Been a tiring day?
Yeah.
I relax at my place, opposite of the cabinet. To my left is the blue-clad Lily, and to my right sits the pink Hanako. So it's like a What do you mean? Stuck situation? I mean, would Lily even get stuck in anything? I mean, she gets help. The tea set on the table looks cute, as well as practical, painted red with a floral motif. It looks odd when contrasted with Lily's plain but generally sophisticated looking furniture, which leads me to think that Hanako might have picked it out. Maybe after stream? Fine, I'll say it.
Ada.
There is a slight tang when Hanako clips the teapot on a cup as she is pouring. Thanks. What did you need it for? She breathes in sharply. She must be really nervous, as it's not the kind of thing anybody would worry about. Hanako quivers at her mistake. It's okay. It's okay, Hanako. There's no need to be nervous. Hanako seems to find some confidence in Lily's reassuring, soft-spoken words, and daintily pours the next two cups. This song is called Raindrops and Puddles.
Here.
just to know how it sounds like.
Here you are, Hisao, Lily.
Hanako carefully places a cup and saucer in front of Lily and myself. That was my mouse's fault. I've explained so many times that my mouse is it's actually not the mouse, it's actually Katawa Shoujo. Like sometimes when I press my mouse, the menu shows up. I could get used to service like this. Thank you, Hanako. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Lily searches for her cup, and upon finding it, sips delicately. I do the same. This tea tastes somewhat better than the tea we usually have at school. No, I'm actually being serious, but yeah, you're free to think that. This is nice. It's so different from any tea I've had before. Looks like you picked the right one, Hanako. You've done very well, even if it's a bold move. Hanako's smile returns, redoubled. Even with her... Yeah, you could see that Hanako's starting to develop feelings for Hisao. Even her blighted face, her smile shy, couldn't be anything but cute. Couldn't be called anything but cute. Is it? I don't think so, but you're free to think that.
I'm glad you like it.
Do we also get under what? Hanako finally begins to relax. Finally beginning to relax, sips from her cup. Something about this makes me think about Lily's question at breakfast. I don't know actually. Why am I friends with Hanako? Lily seems genuinely concerned for Hanako's well-being, but it's not like I can do anything to help her. As far as I can tell, her scars don't hold her back physically, and everyone I've met seems to have overcome their disabilities to some extent. Yuri in DDLC did some weird stuff in her lab. Yeah, she did. She did. And also, Ragnar and I made a joke that when I play DDLC, I should give Yuri my lolly voice, because I use that voice for Mikan and Hanako, and they both have purple hair, and Yuri has purple hair. Yuri also likes reading, so Ragnar made a joke saying that I should use that voice. But I told him if I ever play DDLC, I'll probably use the Ara voice for Yuri. I don't have any ulterior motives to hang out with Hanako. We just share similar interests. Is that enough? So, Hisao, are you enjoying yourself? And like I said in the Danganronpa stream, I did have purple hair at one point. Lily's words break me out of my reverie, and I take a second to reconsider where I am. I don't know what voice I'll give Monica, but I won't be playing DDLC soon because I have other games. I'm in a room with two girls in their bedclothes. This is something to be enjoyed. Wow, Hisao, you horn dog. Yeah, it's relaxing. Almost like I'm not at school anymore. Do you do this often? Quite often, but not as often as we take tea in the school building. Considering they do that nearly every day, That's not a big surprise. Yeah, I understand, but I was asking. Maybe I'll give her my I'll give her my Valley Girl voice, aka my Misha voice. And no, that's I think he was, but I think he was overshadowed because Lily was more of a horn dog. Lily was more of a horn dog compared to his Sal. That's why the fandom likes to joke around that Lily is an alcoholic horn dog. Maybe. I'm not a horn dog. I've never shown any signs of being a horn dog. The only times you could technically count is when I use my shape-shifting ability. Then again, you guys asked me to do it. As I move to take another sip from my teacup, I find it sadly empty. That was delicious. Thank you, Hanako. Lily?
You're welcome.
Yes, you're most welcome, Hanako. It's nice to have a third person here. I mean, Hisao. I got your name confused. I'm becoming a mom. So, are we horn dogs? Maybe I should call my fandom horn dogs. Like, I used to call my fandom hatchlings, but I realized a lot of Dragon VTubers are using it. Oh, hi, how are ya? One must be sure to get one's point across in these circumstances. Lily lets loose a yawn, which she unsuccessfully hides with her hand. Pardon me. I think I'm a little tired.
I think we're all a little tired.
Ada, how absurd we are, Hanako. There's a second Ada for you, Firewall. Us dude? Ada. We really should head to bed. We all have class tomorrow. Thanks. I made it myself. Yeah, I should go. Why are we getting all the Araras now? You just got 2 Araras in a row. Meanwhile, you got like 3 or 4 Araras in Lily's route. Then she stopped saying Ara after she started dating us. Thank you for your presence, Hisao.
Thanks. You'll come again?
Not even the whole army could stop me. I'm impressed by your determination, Hisao. Either way, you're right. We'd best get going. I stand up and make for the door. Hanako gingerly stands up behind me. I stop and face her. Are you coming with me? Hanako blossoms into full blush.
No, no, this room isn't...
It's okay, I was only joking.
Oh, okay. Good night.
Good night, Hanako. Good night, Hisao. Night all. Oh wow, coincidentally, I'm about to end stream. I mean, I might go a little bit into overtime because I messed up a lot. I tried to get my dog inside my room, and also, I actually had to look up a guide to make sure I didn't mess up with Hanako. Hello! How are ya? I'm not sure what it is that Lily wants me to do for Hanako, but I don't want to let her down. I wait until the door was closed before turning to Hanako. Hey, Hanako, you know, you don't have to be nervous around me or anything. I mean, we're friends, right?
Right. We're friends.
If you ever want to hang out or anything, just let me know. We still need to have that chess rematch, remember?
Sure. But I don't think you'll win.
It wouldn't be any fun if it was easy. Lily gives a wait, Lily. Hanako gives a muted laugh. But damn it, Sal, you accidentally friendzoned her. A muted laugh. But she could have just as easily been exhaling.
Good night, Asal.
With that, Hanako quickly retreats into her room, located next to Lily's. I start to walk back to my dorm, but the simple act of walking seems to drain me of my energy. Asal has like 4 or 5 other options, so he's fine. I mean, including her, there's like 4 dateable options. Technically 7, because Misha is Shizune's bad ending, and there's also the joke route with Kenji. I barely make it into my room before I am hit by a wave of exhaustion. I kick off my shoes, fall into bed and fall asleep by the time my head hits the pillow. Katawa Shoujo. Yeah, let's date. I'm not dating Kenji. I pull my door closed, ready for another day of classes. Sleep well? Kenji suddenly... I'm hearing all this about Misha being the bad ending, but I gotta say, I don't know. Getting 2 for the price of 1 is... No, you cheat on Shizune with Misha. So you essentially leave Shizune alone while you run off with Misha. Kenji's sudden appearance makes me jump, and I narrowly avoid butting heads with him. Yeah, you trade one for the other. I mean, people have modded this game, so there are modded endings. I know he has poor eyesight, but he knows who I am now. But he still... Does he still have to... Wait, Speak of the devil. Yep. Oh. Whoops, wrong button. Does he still have to stand this close? Oh yeah, like a baby. I mean, as long as you smash one before going for the other. Damn, why do people say that? Have you ever heard a baby sleep? They scream all night, every night. Babies don't sleep well, ever. Also, no, because Kenji's a joke route, he has the shortest route in the game. And also, there's no adult scene with Kenji. And I'm pretty sure he tries to kill you. Well, there goes my restful state. I have to remember to never use figure of speech with Kenji. Alright, I get your point. It was a figure of speech. Yeah, sure, whatever. Where were you last night? I had a favor to ask you, but you weren't around. For a split second, I considered telling Kenji the truth that I was spending time with Hanako and Lily. You delete his Reddit account. Thankfully, the split second passes as soon as it came. I was just out, checking out the local area and stuff. You know, recon. Good man. Good. I knew you were the type to plan ahead. Anyway, what was this favor you wanted? I was going to get some takeout, but I needed change. Wait, what? I gave you money last week and you still haven't paid me back. Tch. And I was starting to think you were cool. They do say bros before hoes, so that isn't the case. I mean, if you consider murder as his adult scene, then go ahead. Kenji fishes around in his pocket and produces his wallet. As he counts the 400 yen he owes me, I can clearly see two 10,000 yen notes. Hey, what the hell? Why are you borrowing money off me when you have that much cash? Kenji hisses a little, realizing that he's been had. Get off my case, man. It's bad luck to break a big note for anything less than half its value. It's a tycoon rule. Last night's dinner is going to cost me 7 years of bad luck. 7 years. Don't you think that's enough cause to help someone out? I'd get a shorter sentence if I just stole the stuff. My common sense screams at me to say something to him, but frankly, I restrain myself. Arguing a point like this with Kenji will just lead to further and more complicated discussions. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe you should plan these things a little better. Yeah, man, I know. But I've got so much stuff to do. It's hard. And you're never around anymore, so I'm on my own. We're supposed to be brothers in Brotherhood, remember? Yeah, I got you. Global conspiracy and such. I'll keep my eye on the ground. Kenji draws closer to me to get a clear whiff of his garlic-tainted breath. Whiff. You'd better, man. We're already spending less time here. That's the first thing they do. In this scenario, Kenji is the Yep. They'll try to split us up, divide and conquer. Sun Tzu said that. Roger that. Now I gotta be going. I've got classes. You coming? Nah, I'm tired. I stayed up all night just to make sure nothing was going to happen after splitting that note. As rational as ever, I see. Whatever. Night. Kenji scurries back into his room, and I hear him throwing his locks as I walk down the hallway. That is why some people can't roll their tongue, or why their second toe is longer than their big toe. Sansu said he hates Reddit, so... Muto beams a half-moon smile, obviously proud of his explanation of recessive genes. They're only learning about this in the final year? I learned this in the second final year. However, no matter how interested he is at this science that defines who we are, the classroom seems to be reduced to a solter. Why is it that a bad explanation can make the most interesting thing seem worthless? I can see Muto deflate as he realizes that nothing he said in the past hour has sunk in. Whispered conversations start to break the silence, and like an avalanche, high school kind of works different here. Like, we start off in year 7 and we end high school in year 12. The noise level in the class starts to rise. Defeated, Muto identifies some questions from the textbook and sets to clearing off the blackboard. Almost as if expected, Hanako picks up her things and leaves as soon as people start talking and laughing among themselves. The initial shock of seeing someone play so bluntly has started to fade, but it doesn't stop me from wondering. Is she leaving because she doesn't want people to speak to her? Or is it because the thought of people around her shattering Or is it just the thought of people around her shattering her peace? Before I could think about that topic any further, the lunch bell rang. I wonder if she was simply taking the opportunity to leave early. The usual demeanor of students exchanging books for lunch reverberates around the room, and while Misha is distracted, I grab my lunch and head out the door. Lily already sits in the tea room, setting out her tea alone. So, Hanako's not here then? Oh, Hisao, how are you? I haven't met Hanako since this morning, I'm afraid. That's right. Hanako and Lily lives next to each other. Somehow I think their morning conversations are slightly more grounded than Kenji's rumblings. That's strange. She left class early, so I figured that she'd come here. So, she's still leaving class early. Huh? Yeah, I've seen her do it a few times. Lily drops her head a little, and her tone of voice is notably depressed. It's very reminiscent of someone who is used to hearing bad news. I was so sure that she'd stop doing that once you two became friends. Everyone has their own pace, I suppose. Well, I was wondering about that just today. I was wondering about that just today. Why exactly does she leave? I'm not entirely sure myself. Personally, I think it's because she doesn't want to be put in a situation where she has to answer to someone. I have a feedback of my first meeting with her when I thought she looked like a cornered animal. Maybe I wasn't far from the truth. But she seems fine when talking to you, and me, a bit. It's a little more complex than that. I imagine that was the first thing most people ask. Most people. I imagine the first thing most people ask her about is her scars and what happened. She rarely talks about it with me, but I can tell that she doesn't like to remember whatever happened to her back then. Leaving class and running away from discussions is a preemptive strike, if you will. Huh. So then, how does that explain her talking to me? You said it yourself yesterday at breakfast. You tried to ignore her scars. Once she saw that you weren't going to ask her about that, she opened up herself to you. I guess you're right. Maybe, I don't know. You know her better than I, so I'll take your word for it. I wouldn't worry about that. I'm sure you'll come to know her as well as I do soon enough. And before Hanako starts tossing coins, I welcome the prospect of her having a new friend, and the two of you have such similar interests. Well, I hardly count reading as a team sport. It's good to have company, though. That's my point. Hanako is still an average person at heart. She wants company at times like that. I see. I think. To be honest, both of you still confuse me a bit. That's only natural, Hisao. We've only known each other for a little while. It's unreasonable to expect you to understand us, just as we can't understand you. But that is half the fun of becoming friends, right? Yes it is. Alright. I suppose there is the matter of us being opposite genders. Men and women do seem to confuse each other quite often. She says this with a little giggle, finding amusing at the odd little details of life. I hope hope you don't mind, but I'm going to start eating. No, go ahead. I think I'll eat something too. I've got some books. I want to drop back at the library before class start, so I'd better get a move on. You'll probably find Hanako there as well. If you do see her, can you tell her to stop by my room tonight? I'd like to talk to her. You're not coming? Unfortunately, I have a class representatives meeting later, so I'll be gone as soon as I finish my lunch. Okay then, if I don't see her in the library, then I'll tell her in class. I'm sure she'll be back after lunch. We fall silent as we start to eat. I take a second to reflect on our conversation. I've always thought that Hanako's shyness was simply due to her being self-conscious of her scars. But that it's pretty superficial. It's a pretty superficial way of her what? But it's a pretty superficial way of looking at her. Still her food Hisao. Just when I thought I was able to see through the fog of Lily and Hanako, I realized that I'm more lost than when I started. Lily quickly finishes her lunch. Acutely aware of her meeting, I don't blame her. Shizune is most likely going to be there, and I doubt she wants to give her the satisfaction of another argument. I must be off. Same time tomorrow? Same time, same channel. I'd better head off too. I don't want to risk being late. Lily smiles, Lily smiles gently, picks up her cane and walks out into the hall. I turn back onto Lily as we head in opposite directions. For some reason, I find myself hoping she didn't get into another fight with Shizune. As much as I like Lily, Shizune, and Misha, I've been pretty instrumental. As much as I like Lily, Shizune, and Misha, have been pretty instrumental in helping me adjust, even if half our conversations are thinly veiled recruitment attempts. Then again, I barely know either of them. Maybe they were previously leaders of some secret society, but their love for each other drove them apart. Oh yeah, Isao doesn't know they're cousins. Man, I need to stop reading cheap fiction. It's rotting my brain. Either that or I've gotta move away from Kenji and his bad influence. It's sad that I can't tell the two apart anymore. I slide my book down the return chute, and they crash into the cart with a pleasant thud. Yuko, however, doesn't seem as impressed as I. Hisao, you scared me! Sorry, I thought you'd be used to that by now. Or is the literacy level here so low that nobody borrows books anymore? Nobody borrows any books. Huh? No, I think everyone here can read fine. Yeah, never mind. There are some battles you can never win. Trying to explain jokes is one of them. My dad taught me that the hard way. Say, Yuko. Lily and Shizune actually had a Jetstream Sam versus Raiden Samurai Cowboy standoff in the middle of an empty field. Lily lost her sight in that fight, while Shizune lost her voice. No, Shizune didn't lose her voice, she's deaf. That's why she can't speak, because, yeah. When people tend to be deaf, they tend to be mute. So she could probably still make noise. Wait, let's just read this from the top. Say, Shizune. Say, now you got me confused with the names. Say, Yuko, have you seen Hanako about? She left class early, but she wasn't in her usual hiding place. I think I saw her sneaking in before lunch. But I'm not supposed to tell anyone that. I just told you that I saw her leaves. No need to stress out. Oh, of course. In front of everyone? She's probably in the back. Thanks. Got any new books recently? No, sorry. I'll let you know when we do though. Okay. I remember when I was part of my school library team and we get new books, it was a pain. We had to input stuff and put the barcodes. If there was one thing I know about librarians, part-time or otherwise, is that they appreciate people who take a genuine interest in their work. I walked the now familiar path to Hanako's reading nook, picking out a few titles along the way. Sometimes I find it hard to discover a book that will interest me among the shelves. An author's name and a two-word title doesn't mean much in a sea of similar words. For that reason, I sometimes reread books that I read in the past. Better to bet on the favorite than a new runner. An unfamiliar title with a familiar author peeks out among the spines of its neighbors, so I remove it from the shelf. At least I'm not going over old material. The homemade ice cream is done. Nice. As expected, Hanako sits on her beanbag, very deep in a copy of Dance, Dance, Dance. Hi, Hanako. How's it going? Yuko is the real best girl. Yeah. I heard originally she was supposed to be like a joke route or something. And but like I said, people have modded this game, so yeah. I mean, some people have modded so that you could date Emmy's mom, from what I heard. I fight back the urge to ask why she left the class early. If Lily's suspicions were right, then asking her about that could have the opposite effect. Messa leave it for the time being. Sometimes the best way to get an answer from someone is to never ask the question.
Hello? Hello? Hassel? I'm fine.
Something seems off. And after a couple of seconds, I realize what it is. Hanako is smiling. From Persona. She looks as if she's pleased to see me. It's a nice change from the usual. Instinctively frightened instinctively frightened reaction. And something I hope I can see more of as we get to know each other better. Good to hear. How's that book? I heard it's a trip.
It's good, I think. I've only just started it, so I don't really know.
Fair enough. Let me know how it goes. I may borrow it once you're done.
Sure.
There's a good 15 minutes left at lunch. Not enough to really get into a book, but not much to stand around doing nothing. And Hanako's already returned to her reading, so I doubt I'll get much conversation from her. Oh well, I'd better make myself comfortable.
The book is good, Hassel.
Starts eating book. I slouch onto a beanbag and crack open my book. The familiar style of the author leaps out at me from the very first line, as the sentences turn into paragraphs. I start to relax a little. The ending to Hanako's route should just be his out, taking Hanako to cosplay convention. no matter no matter how I try, no matter how I try, I can't seem to get myself into the atmosphere of the book. This is partly due to the lack of time, but mostly the more distracting factor is Hanako. Every 10 or so seconds, she peers over the top of her book, but when our eyes meet, she quickly ducks behind covers. Scar is on the wrong side, but that sounds cool. I guess she did want to talk about something after all. What's up? You look like a period dog on the lookout.
No, it's nothing.
I've told you before, nothing means something when you say it like that. Hanako squirms a little in her beanbag, hoping that by changing her position, she'll find the word she's looking for. Mirror. I mean, if we're going by opposites, not only she the opposite gender, she could also be the opposite side.
I was in an accident.
Accident? Just now? Are you alright? Hanako shakes her head, her hair flowing around her shoulders, in wisps of amethyst on a background of pale and dark flesh. You mean Domer? Hanako?
No, when I was younger.
Domi. This is Hanako's theme. I really like this theme. This theme also played in Lily's route. Realization comes into me like a semi.
When I was...
It's alright, Hanako. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to. Again, she shakes her head.
No, I have to tell you. When I was younger, I was in a fire. My house burned out, and I nearly didn't make it. After that, I was alone.
Hanako's eyes glisten in the dim light of the library, and I reach out to grasp her hand. It's okay, Hanako. You don't have to keep going.
But I have to.
Why? What brought this on?
Last night, Lily told me about your heart. And I didn't think it was fair.
Man, when did the budget go down? They used up all the... No, they were trying to make it seem that Hanako was the one who drew it to explain what's going on. But yeah, I could see the joke. Yeah. Fair?
That I knew about you, but you didn't know about me.
I squeeze Hanako's hand a little. Don't be silly, but yes, I have a heart condition. I lean a little closer to Hanako. Also, you realize the pacing in Hanako's route is a lot faster. What I didn't tell Lily is that I had my first attack when a girl confessed to me. Oh, this is something they cut out in the game. Apparently part of Hanako's backstory, they cut it out because Hanako was already sad enough. Apparently, a boy confessed to her when she was younger. Then she ran away. The boy ran after her, but got hit by a truck. They cut it out, so it's not part of her story anymore. I smile a little to break the tension.
Really?
Really, I haven't heard from her for a while though, so I guess it's all over. I know it's all over. There's no way to to interpret what happened the last time I saw her. In some ways, not having heard from her again has helped me move on from that period of my life. So now we both know a little more about each other. But you don't have to talk about things if you don't want to. In fact, I feel... Yeah, it took us two streams to see Lily's thighs. And we were already hand-holding with Hanako. In fact, I feel a little bad about even thinking about the whole incident. I can almost smell the hospital's disinfectant burning the back of my sinus again. Sinus? I imagine Hanako is going through the same thing now. Going through the same thing now. Yeah, I read that right. When I was in the hospital, I went to the burn ward once, and only once I was bored. So I went for a walk through all the wards. I went through colonography. Colony. I can't say that, or I did say it, but I probably screwed up. And thought I could take it, but when I got to the burn ward, I turned around and went back to my bed. To think that Hanako could have spent months in a place like that, smelling nothing but corrupted skin, strong disinfectant, and sterilized air. The really bad cases were kept in isolated posts that no foreign object could enter. That would have meant no reading. I would have gone insane if I didn't have my books in the hospital. And she said she was alone. Did her parents die? I'll have to ask Lily about it. I can imagine myself saying something dumb unintentionally.
Thank you, Hazel. I haven't told many people about this.
To be honest, I haven't told many people about my circumstances either.
Then I won't tell anyone either.
Deal. I changed my grip on Hanaka's hand into a handshake as the warning bells chimed through the window. Well then, we'd better head back to class, huh?
Sure.
Oh wow, we're already at Act 3. I don't think I'll be getting 7 episodes from Hanako. Castling. Okay, I'll end the stream here. I'll create a new save file. So, I hope you guys had fun. Obviously, tomorrow I won't have a stream. Because, you know, day off. But after that, I'll be back to Fire Emblem. Can you do the thing? The thing? Okay, I'll do the thing. Why not? Don't worry, I won't fool you and switch onto Mikan. Mikan's dead, remember? So you don't have to worry about seeing her again. I mean, I already said the joke, and I've done it multiple times already. Mikan died, but small jaws? I haven't used small jaws in a long time. Mikan actually faked her death, so she can take over Jaws' channel. Yeah, this was fun. I hope you had fun. And yeah, you take care too. And good luck with any exams that you may still have. But anyways, I'm ending the stream here. Like I said earlier, tomorrow's a day off. So, yeah. But I'll be back the day after tomorrow. So I hope you guys had fun and enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, you're done with exams. That's good. So, relax for now. Anyways, goodbye and have fun.